Yo, what up, dudes? I'll let you take that in for a moment. Balaji. I'm not even gonna attempt to do the last name, but I just finished watching a very lengthy podcast episode. Here, with the lighting is a little bit better. The background is kind of weak though. But I ended up finishing watching this. It's like 4 hours. It's pretty long, and I guess I didn't know what I was going to say in response to this, but what actually led me here, can you read that? How to start a new country. So I'm recommending watching this, so that will be linked below if you feel like putting that time investment in. And I guess I'll link to this 1729 website, which is a brainchild. Is that what you call it? It's like an idea he's putting together. But I won't talk too much about the 1729. He talks about it in there. You can read about it on the website. So link to the video, link to this. I guess I will also link to my dream page on my website if you want to take a look at it. You don't need to take a look at it though, because I'm going to explain it right now when it's how to start a new country. And I'm going to speak I have a feeling there's at least one or two or three of you who have seen the many different versions of myself. And it's funny, I'll use, instead of using Casey or Milltown Kid, I'll use myself. And that's something interesting that he brings up there. I'm probably going to jump around a little bit. But, one of my things with coming up with the name Milltown Kid was that was a name I created, right? I didn't create fucking Casey Abbott Payne. Like, there's a lot of, I'm kind of okay with Casey because it has a story and a namesake. And Abbott, my dad picked it out because I think a combination of Abbott Costello and then the funny guys. And then you might not know, it's pretty old. And then like Abbott of Shaolin. But then Payne, like, I don't like. I'm not a fan. Only because not to get too Malcolm X or anything, but it's straight up a slave name, right? Like it's a name that the black people were removed from Africa, and they had their own culture and names and whatnot, and then the slaves took on the names of the owners, right? So I'm not a fan of that name. Why am I talking about all this? Oh, because I said me, because I wanted to be like I want to make this video like it's not coming from Casey, it's not coming from Milltown Kid, it's coming from me. And I bring that up because a point he makes a lot of interesting points in this video, podcast really. There's no moving bits, but how you have there's like three different levels of naming. You have your name, quote unquote, but it's really like your nation state name, right? Like it's your ID. It's the way if you want to do a legal search of me, you can put my name in to the fucking Milwaukee County whatever and see my legal troubles, which I don't have many. You can use it to pull up credit, right? As long as you have my name, social security number. The name is like it's like not who you are. It's not what you are. It's like this means of identification. And then he talks about pseudonym a lot, which is basically where you, like on Reddit. I just use my name on Reddit. But on Reddit, you got a bunch of people who they're not anonymous because they have a trail, they collect karma, you can see their post history or whatever. But there's no, if they're careful, there's no connection to their meat suit, this thing, right? And then you have being anonymous where you're just doing anonymous shit. So that was a little fucking side. I'll tell you two things. This is a secret. Don't tell my wife. Now someone's gonna tell my wife. Don't tell my wife. But I decided to fast for 108 hours, which is like 4.5 days, and I'm over halfway done with it at this point. And it's late, so it's like fasting, tired. Anyhow, how to start a new country. And so the reason, check out the podcast. You can check out that post on his website. You can check out my post. But I remember mentioning, I'm talking to people who have been watching the adventures of this guy for a minute, and like if we go back in time to Milltown Kid and the Milltown Clan, and it's funny because he mentions in his list of how to start new countries about there's these micronations where like someone puts a flag on a oil rig somewhere, or a group of people get a little bit of land somewhere and someone's like, I'm the king of this place, right? Like where it's like kind of a new country but not really. It's what he basically said, LARPing. So I bring up the LARPing for Milltown Kid and the Milltown Clan because my past version, like my view of it was to essentially, like I thought about this already, like, and I think Milwaukee's actually a decent candidate for this, but I've kind of detached myself from focusing on doing it in Milwaukee because it's like a long-term project and I don't know, spend my time doing other stuff. But the future, he mentions this, and I've seen this, like, I just know, I knew this was coming for a long time. Like, this is like pre-cryptocurrency, and then cryptocurrency adds to it. But the development of basically city-states, like, what's going to happen, it's happening now, you'll see it more and more, but cities will kind of have more power than the federal government, or cities will even secede from the federal government and states and be their own, autonomous areas. Now, trying to pull something like that off in a Milwaukee, I didn't think I would turn it into an actual city state, but like, a city could adopt its own cryptocurrency or its own blockchain there's just so many cool things a city, like you can just do so many cool things on a local level than you can like trying to do it federally top down. If you do it from the bottom up, you can do just amazing things, and we're going to see more and more of that really really quickly, 5-10 years. But so anyway, like I mentioned Milltown Kid to Milltown Clan because that was like kind of me LARPing in this made up universe that I wanted to, part of me still, wanted to make real and then do real stuff with it, but it was like LARPing and whatever. Okay, so put that to the side. Now you have, and today I actually finished the first draft of my Flow to Your Dream book. And if you would like to read it, email me at CaseyAbbottPayne@gmail.com. That's the current email address, and I'll send you a copy, and you can read. Like it's in very rough form, but it's decent. So if you wanted to like check it out, but so what I like, the conclusion I've come to when it comes to starting a new country or starting a new city state and everything, I actually like agree with a lot of what he said in this article. It's short, but his focus is basically on creating a distributed network of citizens who are all on the same page. So kind of like a cloud city. And then, when there's enough people on the same page digitally, then you grab a little land, somewhere, and you make your nation, right? Like you get enough land and have enough people and you do your own thing, like you can make your own nation, right? So that's kind of his, and he talks about the version that I'm thinking about that as well, but then he's talking about the version where like maybe you just have distributed land, so all the different people who are on the same page, like I own, if you look at my dream document, but I can just tell you, I'm in the 108 district. I want to get a building here, so I have one building, maybe I get another building in Milwaukee, but then someone else gets a building over here, and then we're all kind of connected and we kind of have our own kind of digital loose nation, but like we don't have our own passports or anything yet, right? Like that's, like getting to the level where, all of the citizens in this cloud country, you get to the point where you're able to issue them passports and you can interact. I mean, I guess what would really make the collective that you're creating a nation state is that other nations recognize it, which then it gets weird because I'm in Taiwan where it's a whole complex issue. But let me wrap up my rambling here. Like, ideally, instead of listening to me ramble, you listen to him ramble. Like, it's much better. But kind of the conclusion I've come to, which I think is interesting, and he doesn't really mention it here, but I kind of view like, what do I want to say? Like, I feel as though, so I'm going to be creating, I'm creating flowism and flowists, and I want to create this flowist nation state, right? And the whole premise of flowism is it's essentially Taoism, but like removed of the Chinesey stuff, and then having some actual frameworks for it. Like one of the failing bits of Taoism as it's not a system, it's a philosophy, right? So like I want to have a philosophy and a system, but then the system is used to either you fucking just do the system because you like it, or you use it to develop your own system. What am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is, I think, okay, I'll make 2 points real quick. One, let's start with the LARPing. I think the LARPing is actually an important quality of nation state building. He even mentions it a little bit there, but I think it's a really, really important quality, the LARP. You guys remember that lightning bolt video? Anyway, I think that's a very important quality, the LARPing, because I guess I'm going to jump into another direction. What's interesting, when you look at the Israel-Palestine conflict, like this sounds kind of funny, but like the Israelis, the Jewish people were basically LARPing. They LARPed their way into into forming their own country. There was a lot of them, and they organized well and everything. They raised a lot of money, but like a religion, like I'm not trying to hate on anybody's religion or anything, but like religion is LARPing. A nation state is essentially a huge LARP. like all these things. My Casey Abbott pain is a LARP within the nation state model. But what I'm saying is, I think LARPing is very, very an important quality to one day. Like, he's very serious about creating a digital nation state. I'm actually very serious about it. The project I've been working on, just FYI, since retiring. I mean, I just recently retired Milltown kid, but it's been a ongoing process. But my focus was on, I had that owning life idea, and I wanted to like really refine that into a set of principles and a system, and I've done that now. But so just as a side, jumping around quite a bit. So the LARPing is an important element, and because the LARPing is an important element, and I was just saying, all religions are LARPs and nation states are LARPs. Like the new nation state, I believe will, I believe to like really create another like nation state. Well, one, if you just get a bunch of different people together and they have different ideas, but they all share the same idea as starting a nation state, that will absolutely work. And that's probably what his approach is. But like me, I'm more interested in creating a new LARP, basically, that people sign up for, and we're all like LARPing together. And I get this building. When I get this building, I'm like, that building is going to be a new nation, right? But nations start small. Like, so we're just LARPing. It'll be a LARP, but the idea is to grow it, to the point where, there's buildings all over it, et cetera, and then, you know, grabbing a piece of land and getting passports. Like, if you look at my dream doc, I go all the way to fucking doing some enterprise shit in space. My 3,888 year plan. Anyhow, yeah, I really just made this to be like, hey, check that out, and yeah, like the future really is like for real, and it's gonna happen so fast and suddenly, in terms of, like, not that it'll boom happen overnight, but the future is changing extremely rapidly, and I think what a lot of people don't understand, because for so long, like, like culture, well, I mean, if you're, an internet kid, you're younger. I consider myself an internet kid, even though I'm older, but I've stayed internet pretty long. Things are changing exponentially, and none of the old institutions, nation states, etc., are wired for exponential change. So yeah, these new, whether I make my city state or he gets his thing, that's the thing, dude. There's him. Like, I was already thinking this before I saw this, but I'm not the only one thinking this. There's people thinking this, like, all over, right? And either one person is gonna, like, just develop a digital army, and it's crazy, right? Like, if you think of someone like PewDiePie or Mr. Beast or whatever, right? They're really just like content creators, and they have like some digital community, but it's really like like if they, obviously their whole audience would not necessarily be down for it, but they, they're in a position where they could get people on a particular program, get them on a particular path, and actually move towards some nation state level stuff, like, for real. Like, and to be honest, that I will not be surprised if a PewDiePie or Mr. Beast or some variant of that ends up drinking this kind of juice. And yeah, dude, like, the futures, man, dude, it's fucking weird now, dude. Shit is weird now, but it's like, it's gonna get crazy weird, crazy fast. Anyway, I just wanted to, like, get some thoughts out of my head about this. So this link, that link, and my dream link. And if you want to read the book I just finished the first version of, hit me up on the Gmails. Anyway, yeah, I better take my meds and go to sleep. Peace.